Hello and welcome. This is from the CBN. We bring to you weekly reports and expert analysis of the actions, policies, and economic initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. I'm Williamisi Dada. The Monetary Policy Committee of the Central Bank of Nigeria at its July meeting reviewed developments in both the global and domestic economies in the second quarter of 2022 and the outlook for the rest of the year. All 11 members present at the meeting voted unanimously to hike interest rates in order to effectively curtail the unabated rising trend of inflation in the country, noting that though output growth remained fragile, but not doing so could worsen the poverty level for the vulnerable populace. Today, we'll focus on the question and answer session that followed the MPC press briefing, where journalists asked for further clarifications and updates on the policies and intervention initiatives of the bank. That's after this break. Stay with us.
If someone calls or sends you a message that you have payment issues with your bank and requests that you reveal sensitive information, end the call and don't click. It might just be a scam. No bank will ever ask you for your personal identification number, PIN, mobile banking password, or your card verification code, CVC. Scammers always sound genuine, but don't fall for their bait. Don't respond to phony emails or SMS, and don't click on any dubious links. Even if the other party calls your date of birth or your BVN, don't give them your security details. If you suspect there's an issue with your account, the safest thing to do is go to your bank or call the number provided by your bank directly. Protect your bank details so no one steals your money. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Welcome back. One member of the CBN Monetary Policy Committee voted to increase interest rate by 150 basis points, 6 members by 100 basis points, 1 member by 75 basis points, and 3 members by 50 basis points. By a majority vote, the committee thus decided to raise the NPR from 13% to 14% in a bid to tame inflation, which has been trending aggressively since March. At the MPC press briefing question and answer session, Collins Nweze of the Nation newspaper asked the CBN governor, Mr. Godwin Emefiele, what efforts the Apex Bank will put in to reduce inflation and its impact on the populace.
When we come sometimes to the MPs and say that we have to be very careful about the rate of acceleration in prices or inflation, it is a very serious matter that monetary policy committee members take very seriously, because what you find is that as inflation continues to trend aggressively higher, it would no doubt adversely begin to retard growth in any economy. And that's why, like you may have observed, most of the countries of the world, both the developed and developing economies, have had to embark on very aggressive rate increases so as to dampen the effect on inflation. Whereas in Nigeria, what we have done in our own attempt to pursue a policy of price stability that is conducive to growth, we have tried over the couple of meetings to leave rates the way they are, while at the same time we have been pushing hard on how to improve on output growth. But of course, with the aggressive acceleration of inflation rate in Nigeria, we decided in May, after almost about 2.5 years, to raise rates by 150 basis points. For our own review, if we have to conduct a comparator analysis, in 2020, Nigeria's inflation was 12.13%. Today, the last data released just about a few days ago puts inflation at 18.6%. Monetary Policy Committee members feel that we cannot just continue to watch inflation grow the way it is rising, that something must be done to rein in inflation. We conducted a very serious analysis looking at various data that was presented to us at this meeting. And we felt that there is a need, not just because we want to look at what other economies are doing, but also the fear that whereas we are seeing some output growth as a result substantially of what we are doing in development finance, but that we need to really rein in inflation. We need to do a lot more work on inflation. And that is the reason, like I read at the communique, whether to tighten or to loosen on hold, MPC did not even take any look at the issue of whether to hold rates constant or to loosen, because we know some people would have expected that having tightened last time by 150 basis points, some of the analysis we've watched or read is that, look, we should not continue to increase rates because it will increase cost of borrowing, by borrowers. It may also weaken manufacturing output and the rest of them. We agree with that postulation. But the important thing is that as long as we see inflation at a level that can retard growth, it must be dealt with, while at the same time we're looking at how do we use development finance tools to continue to push towards improved output growth. That is what we're doing. And I believe, and I want to signal, the Monetary Policy Committee is very determined that if inflation continues at this rate, particularly aggressively, we would continue to tighten, because that is the only thing that I can say at this time. So whereas we're doing everything possible from CBN to look at the various other measures that can be used to moderate inflation, improving farming, hoping that farming outputs will be better, hoping that with that, when the harvest eventually sets maybe sometime from around August or September, let's even say September, October, we may begin to see a moderation in food prices that will help to see to a moderation in inflation. If we do not do so, I cannot promise, MPC cannot promise anybody that we will not continue to increase rates.
The MPC in its July communique applauded the performance of the RT200 FX program and similar initiatives targeted at improving accretion to reserves and stabilizing exchange rates. Nume Ekege of This Day newspaper wanted an update on the RT200 FX program, as well as the 100 for 100 policy on production and productivity, asking whether there will be more inflows through diaspora remittances.
I read at the communique, and MPC was very delighted that 100 for 100 were making progress. I think we've disbursed slightly over 50 billion naira to the 100 for 100, which is meant to really drive support for those who want to produce goods that can be exported out of the country to earn dollar revenues. Indeed, we are delighted that the raise to $200 billion is yielding good results, the RT200, because the data that we have so far, and I read it in the communique, we found out that we've received inflows as of June this year of almost over $2.9 billion. And you all know that during the first quarter when we started, we disbursed 3.6 billion naira as rebates for those who have conducted export activities. For quarter two, we have this morning just approved the release and payment of rebates to those who conducted export activities to the tune of 20 billion naira for quarter two. You can see a jump from 3.6 billion quarter one to 20 billion in quarter two. This is because whereas we found out that yes, there's been a lot of export, but those exports that were found to be eligible for the rebates were in the tune of over $600 million. And that is the reason we're paying slightly over 20 billion naira during the second quarter. We are very, very happy and delighted that a lot more people are embracing export in Nigeria. And indeed, not only that they're embracing export, but as a result of the incentives that we're providing and the incentives that are being paid promptly, that export earnings are increasing. And we had hinted that at some point we will get to a point where the banks will not even need to come to the CBN to buy foreign exchange to meet the important needs of their customers. We're delighted that we're moving gradually in that direction, and I'm optimistic that these numbers will improve by around the end of the year.
On the central bank digital currency, the e-Naira, which was introduced to improve financial inclusion, particularly among the unbanked populace. Bukola Idowu of Leadership newspaper asked to know the current status of the digital money with regards to the USSD code.
Up till very recently, like you know, Nigeria is the second country in the world that launched its digital currency, the CBDC, called the e-Naira. And I can assure everyone that we're making tremendous progress there. We will admit that there is a need for a lot more enlightenment for e-Naira, and that will continue to go on. We're going to send some of our people to go out to enlighten people about the benefits of e-Naira. And I must say that the e-Naira is I use the word, either costless or the product that has the lowest cost in terms of you moving money electronically from one location to another location. In terms of our body, we have been focused up to now on the banked population. We are almost concluding tests with MTN to provide a channel where the unbanked can onboard using the code *997##. We believe that once this is done, we're going to be targeting the unbanked population. And we're also going to be using agency banking arrangements available and other means to ensure that we drive down our e-Naira product. Today, I'm aware that people are now using our e-Naira on remitter.net to make purchases. You can make payments for your DSTV using our e-Naira. You can pay government bills, you can buy airtime, and you can conduct a host of other transactions through our e-Naira at the lowest possible cost. And I want to advise you. You may go to your bank, they may be a little bit resistant to you because moving that money from your account into your wallet is a disadvantage to the banks. I want to say so boldly and bluntly. It's a disadvantage to them, and again, it is almost costless, at least today. So you should go and tell your bank you want your account to be, your e-Naira to be loaded onto your wallet. It will cost you little or nothing compared to those other products that you have that will cost you money in the bank. I will say very bluntly, I'm a banker myself, there is apathy by them because they know that they will lose some income. So you should insist on using your wallet to do your transactions.
The New Telegraph newspaper's Abdul Wahab Isa sent in his question from Abuja via SMS, asking what the central bank will do to ensure that the Naira maintains its value in the face of allegations that politicians are mopping up the US dollar to prosecute their campaigns as the general elections approach.
Well, as far as we are concerned, what we do is that from central bank, we monitor liquidity in the system, and as we see that there's excess liquidity, we will continue to use our discretionary powers to mop those liquidity from the vault of the banks so that they do not get involved or in speculative activities with people who want to speculate with the currency, or those who want to, as for those who want to buy, take Naira from the account to buy dollar because of election, I want to warn, not advise, that it is illegal to do so, whereas it will sound more convenient that you should carry dollar because you can carry just little dollar but with a lot of value in your pocket. But if the security agencies hold you, you know the implication of that. We would continue from our own side. We have our own apparatus through which we monitor movement of funds. between customers or between banks and customers or from one bank to the other bank. And any bank that will find in those kind of transactions that will consider to be unauthorized or that will consider to be illegal, you can imagine that your account will be placed on PND. What does PND mean? Post-no debit. When your account is placed on post-no debit, it means you will never be able to conduct banking transactions in any bank in Nigeria. It is a very injurious tool that the central bank uses. You can see, central bank has turned itself into a monster that uses an injurious tool to stop you from conducting illegal flows, whether domestic or foreign currency. So I will advise you not to get involved in unauthorized and illegal movement of money from your bank to your account or from one account to another account or in currency conversion. When you do that and you are caught in that practice, your account will be placed on PND. A couple of people have come back to us to say, oh, our examiners that placed the account on PND were not very accurate. And I said, it is not possible. Before we do, we conduct a thorough investigation. We have proof to see to what you have done illegally. And your account will be placed, you will be barred from conducting banking transactions all over Nigeria. I would advise that we run away from PND because it is very, very dangerous to get into that net.
North, South, East or West, male or female, old school or millennial, rural or urban, the Naira is the same, and so is the e-Naira. The e-Naira is a legal tender issued by the Central Bank of Nigeria. So, let's embrace it. The e-Naira will foster financial inclusion, improve access to credit, facilitate cross-border remittances, and it's easier to transfer. E-Naira, same Naira, more possibilities. This message is from the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN.
Thanks for staying tuned. You're watching From the CBN, a weekly program that brings to you reports and expert analysis of the actions, policies, and economic initiatives of the Central Bank of Nigeria, CBN. The Monetary Policy Committee at the July meeting reviewed the performance of the bank's intervention programs targeted at stimulating productivity in agriculture, manufacturing/industries, energy/infrastructure, healthcare, exports, and micro, small, and medium enterprises. During the press briefing, Sunday Michael of Daily Trust newspaper asked to know the impact of those interventions, as well as the status of repayment by beneficiaries.
So a lot has been done. What is the impact? The impact is that, for instance, under agriculture, the bank's intervention has financed over 4.1 million farmers, cultivating 21 agricultural commodities to the tune of 1 trillion naira across the country. What did that do? Not only that we stop importing those produce, agri-produce, but we are creating employment for our people. Is it through the Anchor Borers program, which has contributed over 4 million metric tons to our national food production in 2021? The Anchor Borers program has also created over 12.1 million jobs since its inception in 2015. So when you begin to talk about impact, those are some of those impacts because it has also helped to create employment. Yes, you will say that if this has happened, why is unemployment rising? But please don't forget that Nigeria is one of the countries in the world with the highest population growth rate. Nigeria's population grows by at least 5 million people annually. By 2050, Nigeria will be the third most populated country in the world. Third. No doubt it places a lot of responsibility on leadership to provide for these people. But to say that the interventions have not been impactful because unemployment is rising, then I will always tell people, you would have waited to see what would have happened to us if we did not do this intervention and what would have been happening to us today. It's not that we're happy that some of the things happening today are happening, but I can assure you that they would have been worse. I often tell our bankers in the bankers committee meeting, I said, we all have a joint responsibility to see to what can be done to improve level of employment in Nigeria, reduce unemployment in Nigeria, because we all cannot continue to wear our suits and our beautiful skirts and gowns and think that one day, if unemployment continues to rise, if we cannot provide for the basic needs of the downtrodden, one day we will not be able to sleep in our homes. That is why we remain committed at the CBN. That is why at every meeting, either at the CBN board or a monetary policy committee, at the committee of governors, issues about how do we reduce employment, how do we impact the lives of our people, those are issues that are very, very germane to us, and we take them seriously. Or are you talking about in the health sector? In the health sector, I have already read the numbers, but I can also give some of the numbers to you. The bank has released over 130 billion naira to 129 projects across the country, comprising 76 hospitals, 32 pharmaceutical companies, and 21 other healthcare services. Before now, it used to be so very difficult for people to conduct simple MRI. There used to be only one company in Nigeria. They talk about so a company that used to be at Oshodi. What's the name of that company? Mekio. Mekio used to be the only prominent company that has MRI machine in the whole of Nigeria, a country with a population of 200 million people. How then would we say that people should not go for medical tourism abroad if they need simple health care to solve problems for them? Today, we have supported the acquisition of 59 MRIs, magnetic resonance imaging machines in the country. We have supported the funding of 42 computed tomography CT scanners and 4 oncology screening machines in hospitals across the country. So when you ask us questions as about the impact, I would wonder. I have told our colleagues at CBN, they should try. It's not a fluke. When we advertise our interventions, we put the name of the intervening institution or person. We put their telephone numbers because we are confident about what we have done. And we tell you, call those sources, they will tell you. We do not have too much money to continue to be on pages of newspaper and television because these are too many. But we know we will try as much as possible to put all this on our website so that Nigerians can see what we are doing to improve the well-being of our people. We have often received criticisms from people about the repayment of these loans. Under repayment, interventions in the agricultural sector, this has improved significantly because people believe that people are not paying. As the bank has adopted the collection of produce, instead of asking farmers to give us money back as repayment, we have our development finance officers that are there almost at the farm gates to collect the produce, and then we sell it ourselves to recover our loan. For example, out of 741 billion naira that we have disbursed under our commercial agricultural credit scheme, 548 billion has been repaid, both in principal and interest, and the balance of 196 billion is indeed not yet due. So when people say that our interventions are not being paid, I wonder where they are coming from. Yes, sometimes people will take loans and they won't pay. And we have often said it, that when you take a loan, the times are gone when you will not pay. Because we have also put in place various schemes where we will monitor where you are keeping your money nationwide through our global standing instruction, the GSI. And wherever we find your money, we will take it to repay your loans.
Nigeria's Vice President, Professor Yemi Osinbajo, recently had a successful surgical procedure at the Duchess International Hospital, Lagos, one of the beneficiaries of the CBN intervention facilities. AIT correspondent Nkiru Nwokedi sought to know the reaction of the CBN governor to that report and whether there would be more interventions in the healthcare sector.
Our interest in this is that it reduces medical tourism. Medical tourism today in Nigeria consumes nothing less than $10 billion. Am I correct? Did you? At least $10 billion is what we spend in a combination of medical tourism and educational tourism. But again, I must say that I'm happy that there are very, very strong private universities that have sprung up in Nigeria, and we can only just continue to encourage them so as to continue to lift the standards of education in Nigeria. Let's not forget, ladies and gentlemen, people say that health and education are the bedrock of development of any country. We cannot afford to relegate them to the background. So everything that needs to be done to improve the level of health, care, and education in Nigeria, we should all put our hands on deck to get this done.
That's all from the CBN this week. Get your unresolved banking issues across to the CBN Consumer Protection Department using the email address cpd@cbn.gov.ng. Attach relevant documents. Call the CBN Contact Center on the phone line +234 700 2255 226. Local rates may apply. Send your inquiries and comments to the dedicated email address from the cbn@gmail.com. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter for updates and to watch uploaded episodes of the program. We invite you to join us again next time. I'm Uliyemi Dada. Stay safe and bye for now.